Let's have a look. Free China. Very good. Okay. Protesting the Chinese Communist Party, and here I have a guest who wants to tell me something about the organization and what they're trying to achieve.
The organization is basically the band. The band is called the Celestial Band.
Okay.
I am a member of the Celestial Band,
okay,
which is the largest ethnic community marching band in Australia.
Okay.
It composes of about 60 people.
Okay.
And the history is since late 2005.
Okay.
The band is obviously they march and they perform for human rights against dictatorship and violence in China, for human rights and freedom.
Okay.
That's one of the purposes of performing, to again get people's awareness about the persecution of the Falundafa people in China, which in the last 11 years that more than 80 million were persecuted and outlawed. So that's more than 4 times the number of Jewish people persecuted in the World War II, I suppose, by the German National Socialists.
Nazis.
Yes.
Nazis,
and over here, today the gathering Chinese people's awareness because of the communist propaganda and the internet blockage, media censorship. You can barely hear anything about the persecution since it started back in '99.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to basically break the blockage and deliver the news, to deliver the freedom of media into every Chinese people's ears.
Right. And from what I know, I think the Communist Party, you have a small nucleus of diehards who want to hold on to power at any cost, and so they are wanting to shut out all the freedoms of people so they can have a higher standard of living, a higher prosperity level at the expense of the efficient functioning of the entire country. Do you think that is quite accurate, or?
I think you're right. So I think you're right. It's very evident with the North Korean communists. Obviously, turned their people into one of the poorest in the world. But the reason that they're still in power is because they're totally supported and backed by the Beijing communist regime, which for their own purposes, they do not want democracy, they do not want unification of the two Koreas.
Right.
That's only one example. And over in China, since the economic reform by the communist leaders back in the late 70s, basically China have been developing a more extreme kind of social development, and it's evident in the last 3 years. In 2009, according to NTD-TV, there are more than 70,000 riots between police and civilians in the whole year. And in 2010, the so-called communist propaganda portrays China as all the people, most of them living in prosperity. But in 2010, the massive slaughtering of unknown people on the streets occurred more than a dozen times in 2010. It started when a surgeon, a medical surgeon from Fujian province went to a primary school and murdered more than 13 wounded, 8 killed.
Right.
Year 1 children, that was last year.
Yeah.
And then almost a dozen of these copycat killers followed, and that basically tells the world that how China, how angry the people are and how unequal they were treated. It's I obviously compare them to when Louis the 16th was on the throne.
Right.
It's getting closer and closer to that kind of extreme social differences and conflicts. And once again, all these are censored in the news of the communist controlled regime. And over here, we're once again trying to deliver what's been censored and blocked off to everyone here in Australia, as well as into China.
Excellent. So, by means of peaceful awareness and bringing this information to the West, there might be one day where all of a sudden people sit back and realize, hey, this is stupid. Well, how can we have 9 people, old men of the Politburo, running the lives of over 1 billion people, and maybe the consciousness of the world will one day just wake up and say, oh, okay, it's all over. We're gonna, we're gonna get rid of them and we're gonna start again. So I hope that one day that occurs, and
peacefully.
Yeah, peacefully. Yes, that's the important part. Without any bloodshed.
Yes, I think that will happen. I think peaceful disintegration of the communist regime, of the Communist Party, is what we all hope for, including a lot of mainland Communist Party members themselves in recent few years have been awakened to this. And the Communist Party of China in history, but recognized by most historians nowadays, have caused death to 80 million Chinese people in peaceful times.
Right.
And that's almost doubling World War II during war times. And the strange thing is that after 62 years of military dictatorship, and they're still in power. And that's due to violence, terror, propaganda, and we obviously, what we call here is clarifying the truth. We're trying to break through the propaganda, break through the censorship, and deliver the truth to all of our people here.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you very much, and good luck. And one day, China will be like Taiwan. Will be a thriving democracy. It will be the #1 country of the world, and the world will be at a more peaceful place, more prosperous place once this happens.
We thank you very much for your time, and have a happy Chinese New Year.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.